Alrighty, pleased to have on today an absolute beauty. He's from Murrieta, California. He's a former star quarterback, former college golfer, and he's a professional caddy for Rickie Fowler since 2009. We couldn't be happier to finally have him on. So after all that, we welcome on Joe Skovron.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Oh, we're good.
Skovron.
I nailed it. Did I name it? I nailed it. No, I said
you guys can say it how everyone says it different. My parents say it different than me, so I'm not real picky about it.
How does your mom say it?
My mom and dad say Skovron.
Oh,
Skovron. Oh, we're
I
both
think
wrong.
that's more. They're from Wyoming and Montana, and that's the accent. Like I say Skovron. So
I was pretty sure I was saying it all week, like Skovron. I'm like, oh yeah, we're having Scovy on here.
yeah,
That's not it.
You can say it however you want. Doesn't bother
Well, we got Joe on. That's pretty sick. So,
me.
okay, Joe, first before you go in here, I want to know, are you currently at the Rocket Mortgage right now?
Yes.
Where are you staying? It looks kind of sweet. Their house?
Well, I am currently at a house with Max Homa and Joe Griner. So They are out on the golf course right now. So I'm here chilling. We played in the morning. They're playing in the afternoon.
Nice. Well, do you want to walk through day one? How's the course playing right now? Tough? Hard? Conditions?
It's a really good golf course, but for these guys, it's not super tough. I mean, if you're driving it good, you can really take advantage of this place. It's like anywhere you don't drive it well, someplace can get hard, but the afternoon it's blowing a bit more. So they're definitely going to have a little bit more challenge than we had. We had the last few holes. It was kind of getting gusty, but they were supposed to have it all afternoon.
Oh, wow.
How did Boss play today?
We didn't do our best. Got off to kind of a tough start. We're 3 over early, and then he kind of battled it back and shot 1 over.
Okay.
So tomorrow, like a standard 65, and he's right back in it.
Exactly.
There it is.
You can do it quick here.
Oh, really?
What color are we going with tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm wearing. I have no idea what he's wearing. He always surprises me. So he doesn't wear as much bright stuff as he used to, though. You know,
What's your standard? Like khaki shorts, white shirt kind of thing?
I'm not a khaki short guy. I'm from Southern California. I don't do khakis very often. A lot of gray or black shorts. A lot of gray and black shirts as well, but I'll throw in the blue or the green here or there.
I like it. Okay, and then before we get going, all about you. Are you glasses or no glasses?
I am sunglasses.
Golf shoes with no spikes or just runners?
Usually runners.
Okay, this has been fun. All right, Joe. Okay, first off, I want to know what's new with you. What's going on? Obviously, you're at a tournament right now, but what's happening in your world? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. We're going to talk about that a little later, but what's up in your world and what's going on?
Just a lot of this, really. We've been playing a pretty good amount, week at home here or there. We were at Travelers. We were in Scotland. We obviously weren't in the Open Championship, so watched that from home. That was the first time in a while. We'd been in every one since I've been out here. So I actually kind of enjoyed watching it. I'd much rather been there, but I'm still a big golf fan. And I forgot what it's like to get up at, out there on Arizona time, get up at 5 and golf's on and ready to go. And so it was fun to watch that.
That's awesome.
Wicked.
Joe, on this podcast, we backtrack a lot of things, and I want to chat about, obviously where you grew up, hobbies. I mentioned you were a quarterback. I mean, were you a hockey guy too at all? I mean, like, where were you? What were you doing as a young, Joe?
So I was always pretty into golf. I got into golf at 9. My dad's a PGA professional. My dad's I think he's on 50 years now. He's 75, and he's been in it since he got out of college.
Wow.
So he was always running golf courses, and I grew up around golf, but he's a huge sports fan. So football was my second love. Like, we're diehard Charger fans. So that was big in our house. That was like religion in our house. And we went to every game at the Murph and Qualcomm on Sundays until they moved. Golf, obviously, played basketball in high school a little bit. That was more just because I went to a small high school. I probably wouldn't have played anywhere else. Dabbled in hockey, but it was roller hockey. There's not much ice hockey in Southern California. I had a few friends that did it that were really into it and played travel and everything, but I played 2 years of roller hockey, and that was about the extent. Hockey fan-wise, I was into it at that time when the Kings were really good, with Gretzky and Robitaille and Kelly Rudy and all them. But other than that, I don't watch a whole lot of hockey. It's kind of like you got to pick NBA or hockey. It's hard to watch both, and I've just always been a little bit more of an NBA guy, but the sport's really fun to watch, and I enjoy playoff hockey, but I'm not really that savvy in the hockey world.
That caught me by surprise when you said the Kings were really good and you said Gretzky and Robitaille, because they went on a absolute tear in the early 2010s.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They were nasty too. They won what, 2 cups and back to back, 2 and 3 years.
2 and 3, I think.
Oh yeah. See, that was after I was out of hockey. I know they went on that tear and everything, but I was into it in, the 90s. So that's, when I was growing up.
So was Murrieta near San Diego?
Yeah, where I grew up was about 45 minutes to Qualcomm Stadium, 45, 50 minutes, no traffic to downtown San Diego.
I gotcha. I spent the last year working in Eureka and Grass Valley.
Oh, okay.
Way up north.
Yeah.
Joe, I used to play inline hockey. We call it inline up here. It's no longer a thing now, but man, I used to love that. Might be my favorite sport of all time. And I played hockey for, I played junior and whatnot. I coach hockey now, but man, that sport is unbelievable. It's fast. Like there's a lot of quick plays and you're going quick and you're on wheels. Like,
yeah,
man, it's unbelievable. I love it.
I'm not sure how fast I was or the guys I was playing against, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So,
hey, do you also know that Torrie's a caddy too? He's a caddy right now.
Oh, I didn't realize that. No.
What do you caddy?
Used to.
Oh,
well, kind of part-time.
Part-time. All right.
But hey, speaking of that, who else have you caddied for?
So full-time, Rickie's the only full-time job I've had out on the PGA Tour. So, and I've only done one fill-in week in my 13 years. Last year at Memphis, Patrick Cantlay's caddy came down with COVID, and I was actually on a boys trip up in Whitefish, Montana, and we had been there for about a day and a half, and I got a call, and then I flew from there to Memphis, and he wasn't getting in Wednesday, so I was able to do it. And then before that, the way I got into caddying was a couple of my friends. I grew up with Brendan Steele, who plays the tour now, has won 3 times out there. And then a girl by the name of Charlotte Mayorkas was at our course as well, and she played the LPGA for a few years. So I filled in for them. I probably did 8 events and a couple majors for her when she was kind of bouncing around caddies. And then I did probably 15 to 20 events for Steele. We roomed together on mini tours. I was usually around the cut line. So when I missed the cut and he was in contention, I'd go caddy for him the last round. That's kind of how I got into it.
Well, I appreciate you answering my first question.
What was that?
How you got into it? Hey, you and me have something in common. We only caddy for Ryder Cuppers.
Yeah.
Sandy Lyle and Jim Gallagher. That's it.
Oh wow! Look at you. All right. Nice.
Okay, so that hold on, Torrie. That kind of went to my 15th question down the road here. But Joe, so you got into caddying. That's how you got in. I was asked the same thing because my cousin did it. Like he played pro golf, and then just the talent level was unbelievable. And I think he just switched into caddying. I mean, he started doing for a few different guys. I think Hugo Leon for a bit, and then he went to
Fuego.
Yeah, I don't know the other few guys, but then he got on with Abe and then just rode him out for a long time. Maybe walk us through how you met Dale, and then even like the grind of a day to day as a caddy.
So Dale, I met back in 2007. I played one Canadian Tour event, and it was down in that Cancun area, pretty close to where we play Mayakoba. I can't remember the name of the resort it was. And I was good friends with a guy named Byron Smith, who Dale ended up working for.
Right.
And so they hung out on the Canadian Tour, and I met Dale. And the funny thing is, the next time that I met Dale, I knew who he was because he caddied for Byron and stuff, but I wasn't around him. We were in the shuttle from the airport to Mayakoba a few years ago when he was working for Abe. And I'm like, man, I met you in 2007 down here in the same place, within a few miles. It was pretty funny. We had a chuckle about it. But yeah.
So did you play on the Canadian Tour?
No, I didn't. I played that one event. I got an exemption somehow through my buddy that was an agent, and he got me in there. But no, I didn't play the Canadian Tour.
Okay, so then let's go back to some golf then. So you played college golf, but before we go to that, did you play were you a good junior? I mean, I've seen some of your scores and whatnot, but were you good at junior golf, and then you just went on to play college, or walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, Rickie would tell you my peak was 14 years old. So I was kind of 12 to 14. I was pretty good. I won a lot of golf tournaments, and traveling around playing a lot of stuff, junior world, and finished high there and got to go to Japan and a lot of stuff like that and a lot of local tournaments. And then, was a pretty good high school golfer, but I wasn't at the national level. I wasn't anything at that point. And then went to UC Santa Barbara for a year on a scholarship and then transferred to Division III and then had a couple pretty good years there where I was an All-American and did pretty well there, and then played good in some city stuff and different amateur events. But on the national level, after kind of 13, 14, I was never really relevant.
What caused you to transfer, if you don't mind me asking?
So what's funny about that is at the time I was redshirting and I decided I wanted to play football again. So I wanted to find somewhere that I could play both. And I was a D2, D3 caliber football player. I'm not the biggest guy in the world. And so I found a place that I could play both. And then I had a good summer of golf and I decided just to play golf there, and I didn't play football. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So where is University of Laverne? Where's that?
The best way I could describe it, it's probably 20 to 25 miles east of LA, I guess it would be. It's like not that far from Ontario Airport for people that are familiar with Southern California. It's kind of nestled in between
Ontario rain,
Pandora, Ontario, that kind of like not that far from Pasadena. It's just right in there. It's where like the 210, the 57 freeways kind of meet right there in the 10.
You're just talking stats to me now. I'm like,
yeah, I know. I don't know how to describe it. If you're not from Southern California, it's tough. It's just a little small town.
So, and I talked to Drew before and I said, let's not talk all about Rickie. So like, how did you guys meet?
So we grew up in the same town. I'm 8 years older than him. So I've known Rickie since he was 4.5. My mom ran the local junior golf association and she's run it. Like they're actually having their last tournament. My parents are moving, side note, and they're shutting down the junior golf association. And so today's their last day. But she's been running it since 1989 off and on. She had a couple breaks in there, but so I met Rickie through that. And he's actually the only person she's ever let play in tournaments before 5. And so I always tell her she was 1 for 1 on the one she picked. So
that's cool. Well, tell us about this junior golf camp they have.
Yeah. So it's a local junior golf association. It was started before we got up into the area. And then my mom got involved when my dad got a job up there as a head pro director of golf at one of the clubs. And she's been involved with it for a long time. And then my dad's gotten involved the last number of years and they've run it together. And it's an old school junior golf association. They keep the prices down. They do 1 and 2 day events. They do 20 to 25 a year. Our alumni are pretty good, like Rickie Fowler, Brendan Steele. They used to run an international event that was really cool for 3 days. And when I was growing up, and so I played with Adam Scott in that event. We had teams from the Philippines and Australia and all over the world come over and play. So that was a very cool event. They would have it the week before Junior World, which was in San Diego every year. Mm-hmm. So my parents have just always been involved with golf and kids in golf. So
that's awesome.
That's unbelievable. But also, speaking of Adam Scott, are you concerned that Adam Scott's caddy took his place as the best looking caddy on tour?
Well, they're no longer together.
So that's from Drew Stoltz.
Yeah, so they're no longer together, but Lamonti is now working for Keith Mitchell. And Drew likes to say he's the best looking guy out there on tour, which I'm totally fine with. I agree. So
that's that is a beauty though. Okay, Joe, my question is, because we don't want to talk all about Rickie because it's about you. I want to know what your like day-to-day lifestyle is. I mean, I talk to my cousin here and there about what they do as preparation and whatnot. Later, are you just strictly doing calf races, like a week before the tournament? Are you doing like workouts? Are you doing squats? Like what?
You're such an idiot, Drew.
So you want to know what an off week's like or a work
off week, or even during the week? I mean, obviously I know you guys walk around the courses and do all the Bushnell shooting and whatnot, but I don't know. Walk me through what you're doing for a pro, for your boss. Jesus, Drew.
Okay. So work week standard is get in there on Monday. as I've gone on, if we've played a golf course a lot, Rickie's usually going to do 9 and 9, 9 Tuesday, 9 Wednesday, especially with the pro-ams, a lot of 9 and 9s there. So 9-hole pro-am. So then a lot of times now, Monday's my travel day. I'll walk it on Tuesday, do anything I need to do with the yardage book. Then we'll play a pro-am on Wednesday. He'll practice a bit on Tuesday. He'll practice a bit before, after the pro-am on Wednesday. And that's kind of the extent of that. Now, a major week or somewhere we haven't been, I'm walking on Monday. He's probably playing 18 Tuesday. He's playing 9 or 18 Wednesday. So it's a little bit more extensive. You're at the course a lot more. When we're not at the course, this afternoon, I mean, for example, we got done early. We didn't practice after. I went and ran some errands, grocery store, Starbucks, did a little workout,
Yeah, you did.
A painter back home and things like that, trying to make sure they're getting in. My parents are moving, so getting in the house there and just normal stuff that people would do. At night, you're putting in the pins, going over the yardage book, the leaves, all that kind of stuff. Used to be a bit more detail there when we had greens books. You got to put in the greens books and the yardage book, but now it's just the yardage book. Those are banned. Just making sure when I'm walking a golf course, making sure I've got the spots we're trying to hit it off the tee with different winds. Any tees are going to move, leaves around the greens. So I've got my notes from all the past. I got, a couple little storage things full of yardage books, pull out the old yardage book, convert whatever I need to. If there's changes, seeing if there's anything there, and just kind of making sure we're ready to go.
Wow.
So that brings something up. Like, who checks and sees if you have like the old greens books?
I think they're just pretty much, from what we've been told, they're going on the honor system. So
okay.
I think there's been a couple incidences on the Champions Tour, from what I've been told, where guys have noticed somebody else using it, called them out, and it was true. We are allowed to have them in practice rounds, and you're allowed to reference them in your prep at home at night, but you can't make any notes from that book. All of your notes have to be something that you've actually experienced. So you can't be writing in there 2.0 or lines from there or things like that. You can.
How can you not make like an arrow?
What's that?
How can they not let you write an arrow? Like, I used to always have arrows.
Yeah, they're probably not going to question that. We're still doing arrows and everything else. So they're not going to question an arrow. Now, if it looks like you're making straight lines and you're doing things to try to help that out, that's coming and copied from a book, then that's going to be a problem. But if you're out there, you could go out there and go around all the old pins and aim point and come up with it and say, this is 2.0 and have an arrow. And like, you can draw all that in the book, but you have to have experienced it and done it yourself. You can't just copy from the book.
I always wonder how they police that, because I remember like before, like I didn't have greens books, but like I'd always like find the fall line basically. Yeah. And where's the straight putt from? And then you basically, for me at least, as a golfer and a caddy, I'd base it off the fall line. Yeah. Like it's going this way to that way, whatever. I'd put like 8, what I thought would be pin positions. But anyways, one other thing you said you went to work out. Do the caddies get access to the fitness trailer?
No, we don't. So we've got to find a gym or do something. Like I just did something here today with some bands and something pretty light. But you either got to get a hotel with a gym or find a gym in the area.
Gotcha.
Oh, so where are you staying right now? Are you guys at an Airbnb or what?
Yeah, we're just in a little house not too far from the golf course. So, Rocket takes pretty good care of all of us. I'm a Rocket guy, so they take pretty good care of me. And then, I think they set Max up with this house and they do a good job. So they make sure they take care of us.
Nice. Well,
how common is that you'll stay with a player, especially not your own player?
Not real common. I mean, stay with Max a bit. I hang out with Max and his caddy Joe quite a bit. And when we're at home, we're playing golf once or twice a week together and we're hanging together. And so they're two of my closer friends out here.
He needs to hurry the hell up and get back so we can get him on. get 2 birds stoned at once.
There you go.
Hey, also, Joe, I'm going to Nationals August 21st, 24th. If you're in Toronto, just hop on the bag. We'll figure something out for you. You can stay in my hotel.
Okay. So what is this? What are you playing in?
What's it called, Torrie? The
Canadian Mid-Am, Drew.
Canadian Mid-Am Championships. Yep.
Holy fuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So you can play a little bit.
Yeah, once in a while. Yep. I mean, if I had a caddy with arrows and dots going everywhere, I'd probably be, maybe on the Champions Tour soon.
Drew, you pay for my flight, I'll come up, buddy. I've only been to 5 of them. Not a big deal.
Joe, question. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask 3 questions based on your job every day, and we've already done it the whole time. But you've been with Rickie since 2009. How has the ride been? You guys have had some success. Man, I love this guy. When I was younger, I was like, I want to be like him. I used to watch what's a TV show called High School Musical. He looks exactly like Zac Efron. I'm sure he's heard that tons of times in his life. Man, I think it's so cool. Not only talk to you, but you get to hang out with your buddy since you were 9 and 4 years old. Just walk us through your time since 2009 and all your success.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I mean, to come out here with him, all the success he's had, getting to do 4 Ryder Cups, 3 President's Cups, getting to be around the people I've gotten to be around in golf, outside of golf, what it's done for my life, being a part of him winning the Players Championship and a playoff event and, 2 European events and Tigers event and the whole thing and being in contention in majors. I mean, it's been such a ride. And those first 10 years were pretty successful for us. There weren't a whole lot of bumps in the road. Our bumps were, we didn't get it done in a major or,
right.
Something like that. And these last 3 years have been a little different for both of us, and it's pretty common in golf. There's very few guys that get through a whole career without that bump in the road. And so there's been a little bit of that, these last 3 years, and it's been a bit different. Don't know your schedule as much, deciding on a Thursday to go the next week, because you got to commit by Friday, and hey, chasing a world ranking, before Augusta or things like that, trying to get in events, heading over to the Scottish, not knowing if we were in the British Open or not. And just a lot of things like that. Right now we're battling to try to make the playoffs. And last year we didn't, came down to the last event, we didn't make the playoffs. And, before it was kind of like, if it wasn't Tour Championship, it wasn't, the year we expected. So it's definitely been a bit different, but it's part of the whole thing.
Are you ever nervous at tournaments? Like, do you get the nerves like a player would?
Yeah, I think it's different than a player. I think you definitely, the juices are flowing a lot more when you're in contention or, a big event that you got a chance in and things like that, or big moments. Your juices are definitely flowing, but you don't have to hit a shot. So it's so much different. You can be objective. You can kind of take a step back. Early on though, like things would kind of get moving fast. He likes to play fast.
Mute me. Sorry.
So, with that would kind of, you have to learn to like slow things down in the big moments, make sure you're going through the whole process. There's a learning curve in all that, kind of learning what your guy needs in those big moments, things like that. But as far as like getting nervous, I wouldn't say, it's definitely a different level than it is with players,
Okay, so Joe, that's my next question. Like, walk us through like a shot process and communication and pre-shot routine. I mean, like, you're not taking the shot, but like you're saying, hey, it's 145 to the front, 150 to the flag, whatever. Don't be left, got to be right.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some like, okay, like, I mean, those 30 seconds probably over the ball, you're like, oh, just please hit it good. It just, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I when I'm watching on TV, I'm like, don't go left. There's water there, or just funnels off. Like, what are your talks like with Rickie? Just, hey, like, like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but like when you're saying, hey, Rickie, what are you thinking? And he's saying 6, and you're like, oh, you should hit 7. Like, what are you guys talking about, kind of thing?
Yeah, there's definitely those times. I mean, especially when wind's swirling, or, greens have gotten really baked out, and, you're picturing a shot and maybe they're picturing something different. And most shots, it can be 2 different clubs. It's just how you're hitting that shot, right? So, getting stuck into there's only one right one is, I think, a little bit tough. And, it's always kind of up to the player, especially when you're playing in wind and things like that. They've got to kind of feel what kind of shot they're hitting. But you definitely, there's times where you step in and you're like, no, man, it's 8. And you're like, all right, I hope he gets all this 8, because he wanted to hit a 7, things like that for sure. Or, man, I hope this wind doesn't switch back to that. We use a clock system, and, it's 2:30, you're playing the hurt to a back pin, trying to land it 4 short of it, and he's hitting more club, kind of trying to hit a cut back into it. And you're like, man, this wind switches, or he pulls this or catches it, we're going to be in a bad spot kind of a thing. But you still, that's just part of the job, and like, you're going to make some mistakes out here. You're not always going to get it right. The mistakes that are unacceptable are, giving wrong information, giving a wrong number, things like that. But you're going to miss reads. You're going to get clubs wrong. You're going to see a shot different than him, and sometimes you've got to go with him and make him feel confident about it, even if you don't agree with it, so there's a lot of that psychology kind of involved in it, and knowing how to talk to your player and maybe asking them questions so they can make the decision. And it's not just you making a decision and they feel better about it. There's a lot of different ways to go about it.
Dude, that's the worst feeling in the world when you do screw something up like that. Like, I remember one time I was with Sandy and we had 158 to a creek, and I told him 185, and he laid it up like 2 feet short of the creek. And he's like, what the hell was that? And I was like, my bad, dude.
Yeah, it's the worst.
You feel like dog shit the rest of the round.
Yeah, for sure. I've given 2 bad numbers in my 13 years with him, and they both come at the BMW championship in Chicago. For some reason, I have no idea why. And one time I went the wrong way off the sprinkler, and it was to a back pin. He airmailed the green, and I realized it walking up to the green. I'm like, man, I gave you the wrong number there. And he went and got it up and down, and we moved on.
Thank God.
And then the next time I gave him the wrong head. I went off the wrong head in the rough. I don't know what happened, got in a rush, whatever it was. And this ball, he hits it good. And you look at it and you know he hit it good. And he's 15 yards short of the front edge. And I'm like, what happened? I'm looking at I looked at the next head. Oh man. I'm like, dude, you're never going to miss one. But I gave you the wrong night. He got it up and down. So both times he got out of there with par. We moved on. But, kind of give me a hard time the rest of the round. Like, you sure that one's right? And with him, he doesn't carry a yardage book a lot of the time. So I'm responsible for the number at all times, pretty much. I'm the one getting the number. He's had his moments where he'll check them as well, but for the most part, I do it. So you're double and triple checking and getting up there and making sure you've got it before you give it to him to make sure there's no mistakes. So,
dude, those 2 up and downs, you were 10 times more pumped than he was.
Oh yeah.
That he got up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I remember I think it was Sandy. He would make me count his clubs 3 times before we teed off. He was like petrified of that. I guess because he was good buddies with Woosnam, and after the Woosnam catastrophe. But I brought up nerves earlier, and you kind of like glossed over the Ryder Cup. What is the Ryder Cup like to be on the bag?
I mean, man, the first one was unbelievable. The first one, I'm a rookie on tour, just got done with my first year.
Was that 2010? Sorry.
That was 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. And, we'd been around Phil and Bones a bit, so I knew them, but, I'd never been around Tiger, never been around Stevie. We were like the new kids on the block, and Torrie Pavin was great. He was fantastic with both Rickie and I. Doing a great job of making us feel a part of it. The guys all did a great job of it. But, it ended up coming down to Rickie. And, he had to come back in that match. For those of you that don't remember, like, he was 4 down with 6 to go, I believe it was. And, won 4 out of the last 5 or whatever it was, 4 out of the last 6, made those 2 putts to send it back to the Hunter Mahan Graham McDowell match. Otherwise it was over. And the putt he made on 17 was probably as excited as I've ever been on a golf course. I was pretty pumped, and the roars were nuts. And even though it was over there, it was crazy atmosphere. And then he made the one on 18. And I remember Bones running down the hill after me and going nuts. And it was really cool because we were like, all right, we're still alive. Let's go. And, we hadn't won a match that whole week. I think we had another tie. And so it was a big tie. It wasn't a win, but it was a big tie to kind of send it there after the start. And the whole experience was cool, meeting Tiger for the first time and, hanging out with him and, being around all the guys. It was really cool. And they're all so much fun. And like my last one, I kind of was one of the older guys on there that had done, the most, I'd done the most or second most. I think Jimmy Johnson was on that team when he was with Justin. And so he had done more than me, but kind of got to the point that, I was one of the guys that'd been around the most. So it was kind of wild that it got to that point.
He only goes with studs. Jimmy
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. I wasn't asked now. What's in the golf bag for a snack, whether it's for you or for Rick E?
So
Slick
Rick's a usually some type of almond butter and banana sandwich kind of guy. I'm more of a bar guy, so I've usually got a couple bars in there. Pretty simple, nothing crazy. Both do hydration drinks, and that's about all.
Here's one for you. So I played in the men's amateur 2 years ago, and one of our other co-hosts, he's not here today, but he was my caddy, and he's great. He slugged around probably 30 golf balls and 17 water bottles for like 4 days. How many and I didn't lose a ball. I didn't lose a ball in 4 days. I felt so bad. How many balls does Rickie carry in his bag?
Before you answer that, what the fuck are you doing with 30 balls in your bag?
Thanks for asking that.
Tournaments, I don't know. It was weird. Even this last event in
yeah, it is weird.
I only carried 7. So okay, if I lose more than 7 golf balls, I'm getting off the golf course. But
exactly,
this time I carried 7. But anyway, so not about me. It's about Rick and you.
Usually 9 to 12, and that's more just because you're worried about losing them, but just scuff them, anything, throw them out, get them out of there. So he's usually a 9 to 12 guy.
Okay, here's my other question now. This is how many times if a player's in trouble, are you saying, hey, just blow it right into the grandstands? Because they just blow it right into the back of the wall or the fans.
Yeah, we haven't had that very much. The one time I can remember us doing that, 13 at Augusta. Have you guys been to Augusta?
I have a few times.
So 13, everybody knows the hole, but they have the patrons going up the right side on the second shot there, where you in between 13 and 14, where to certain pins, that's where you want to lay up. Like those left pins, you can get an angle and you want to hit it up there. And we were trying to hit a layup up there, and I went out and cleared out a good amount of people. And so that we had room over there to do it. And it still ended up catching the people, and it hit a chair and kicked down into the hazard. I mean, it was where we were trying to hit it. And that's about the only time I can remember that we were trying to hit it over towards a crowd or a grandstand or anything there, and it didn't work out so well. So we kind of figured that wasn't the way to do things. Try to hit it where you're supposed to and see what happens.
Quick one with that. Do you guys drive through the main gate?
No, we do not. We walk through a different park and walk through a different gate.
Okay. Do you go through that like back one that comes out by like 16 and?
No, we go through the front. It comes out by the caddy area and the range. They built this unbelievable caddy clubhouse when they redid the range, the new range.
Right.
They built this unbelievable caddy area there. Like a lot of the players will come there and eat, and the whole thing, it's fantastic. And so it's right on the range. So it couldn't be more ideal. When your guy's ready to hit balls, he just comes and gets you in there, and like the bag storage is there and everything's there. So we don't really go near clubhouse, pro shop area, or any of that stuff. We just hang out there and then walk to the first or 10th tee and get going.
I got you. Cause I've used like 3 different entrances. I was like, I wonder where the caddies go here.
Yeah. So that's where we go. Yep.
Torrie, you got any more for go to our segment called Questions from the Gallery?
Well, I've got one more before Questions from the Gallery.
Shoot.
The live. What are your thoughts?
I
understand if you can't say too much.
No, I'll be honest with you. I'm not for or against. I think this thing has become, I understand why it's become it's almost like a political divide, but for me, the way I look at it is the guys that want to go, who am I to tell them not to go? And who am I to tell them what's good for their family or what's not? And some of my caddy buddies that have gone, I'm happy for them. They're making a bunch of money. They're happy. It's great. As far as how it is for the game, I don't know. I don't know if it's good for the game or not. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm fortunate that, the PGA Tour has done what they've done, but see points on both sides. And so I'm kind of Switzerland on this one, you know?
Actually, Drew, I've got one more. Is it, I remember hearing like rumblings. Is there going to be a caddy union of some sort at any time, or?
Not that I know of. We have an association.
Mhm.
Not that I haven't heard anything about a caddy union. There was like a movement for that, you know, a few years back and some things like that, but that kind of, you know, just went away. So I haven't heard any rumblings with that. We've got an association, and Scott Sajanik, one of the caddies, heads that up, and he does a great job. And the tour has just gotten better and better. Like since I came in 2010 to now, how we get treated and what goes on is just, it's a completely different world. And when you talk to the guys that have been out here for 30 years, they're like, man, it's not even the same ballpark. So we get treated pretty good at most events. I mean, last week we were at Minnesota 3M, and they had the option that if we had an afternoon tea time and we wanted to stay for dinner, we could order from the menu. You know, there was the food being served in the clubhouse, and everything else, took great care of us. So there's a lot more events doing things like that for us.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. I heard Jack's tournament was always like really good to the caddies. Or was it Jack or Arnie? One of the two. No, Arnie's was terrible.
What's that?
Wasn't Arnie's tournament terrible? You guys are like staying under a like pop-up tent.
There was a time when, you know, when it could have been better, for sure. There was a time when it could have been better.
We'll just leave it at that.
It's definitely stepped it up. The food there the last few years, our parking's good. There's a lot of good things there. Now there's very few events that don't do a good job with us. And even the ones now that you look at and you go, man, this could be better. It's better than it was for sure. So, and we don't need a lot, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But some of them go above and beyond. The ones that go above and beyond are like Wells Fargo, Augusta, 3M. You know, I'm probably missing a few, but there's some that really go above and beyond. Travel does an amazing job.
There was a couple I went to. I couldn't wait to get to the clubhouse in the morning, or well, not the clubhouse, but like the caddy barn or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
it's like, man, this is gonna be so good. I don't know what they're serving, but it's gonna be good.
How long did you caddy for?
Not long.
Okay, you just
like I do a lot of just like private course caddying now.
Okay,
not full time or anything like that, but no, I love it.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, let's go to our segment called Questions from the Gallery, sponsored by Rubber Co. Rubber Co was founded in 2021, made out of 100% recycled tires, and has tons to offer. We offer rubber parking blocks, speed bumps, gym flooring, matting, and now our new hockey devices. Check out the website, www.rubberco.com, or can follow us on social media at rubber.co, and can call as well, 306-541-9840. Joe and everyone else out there, think with your head and choose the right rubber.
Oh, pretty solid.
Before we get going, Joe, Paul Tesori. Tell him Paul Tesori thinks he's my good luck charm.
Yeah, that's I don't know if he told you what that's about, but we played with Webb. I think it was 20 here. And that was when Webb was on fire. Like he got way up there in the world rankings, and we hadn't played with him in a while. And he played unbelievable. And I was talking to Paul about it. I'm like, wow, this golf is good. And I think I sent out a tweet that said, Webb Simpson's, you know, in contention for best human on tour and best player on tour at the same time. And we got paired with him again this week here, and he shot 6 under today. So,
oh wow,
you know, I guess must be something about playing with us here.
I love it. Okay, best part about being a professional caddy.
Man, there's a lot of good things.
The free range balls.
You're such a
loser. Experiences, man. The experiences, you know, between the golf experiences and the people you meet and the relationships you develop. I think that's, you know, the experiences. I mean, my life has been, you know, so far from what you would call normal, and been very fortunate for that.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Torrie.
All right. Who's your favorite caddy to be paired with?
I've got a lot of them, but I would have to go with either Penner that works for Cameron Smith, or Matty Kelly that works for Mark Leishman. They're my two best friends out here. We've been traveling together since I got out here. And so you're always pumped up when you get to play with them.
Like it.
Best advice you've ever been given?
Man, best advice I've ever been given. I've been given a lot of good advice. Man, that's a tough one. I can't come up with something off the top of my head.
Okay, what if we just stuck with golf then? Best golf advice for maybe from another caddy.
You know, Bones told me when I first got out here, Bones said he caddies, he basically, you caddy every day as if it's your first. Like, it's never a guarantee. So like, don't get complacent. Don't start cutting corners. Don't start doing any of those things. You caddy every day like it's your first, because you can lose that job at any time. And I think that as far as caddying goes, if you do that and you always take care of your business, you're going to be fine out here.
I'm gonna ride off that one. I didn't even think of this question until you just said that. What's the most surprised you've had like of a caddy being fired?
Man, that's a tough one. I honestly can't come up with anything off the top of my head. If I can think of something, I will. But
because I know every once in a while there's like a
I don't know that it's, you know, I think you kind of like, the longer you're out here, you just don't get that surprised anymore. You know, there's always reasons. And, you know, and it's sometimes it's as simple as it's gone stale, or they just need a change. And they, you know, you could get rid of a great caddy because you just need a change, and that's okay. You know, and I think that's part of it. Sometimes you just need something fresh in golf, and you got to, you know, break out of the cycle you're in.
It's like coaches in every sports, really. You know, just the message is getting old. Like, you need something new.
Sometimes they just need to hear it a different way.
Yep.
You know?
Joe, has your handicap gotten better than 3, or has it gotten worse?
Has it gotten better than 3 ever?
No, currently, today.
I'm currently at 2.7, and all my handicap has really done is get worse. It got really bad for a while. I had a little streak a couple of years ago where I got close to a 5. I was hitting it everywhere at Whisper Rock and just making 6 X's all over the place. But yeah, I've progressively gotten worse since I stopped playing. I need to play every day to be any good, I found out. So,
okay, speaking of Whisper Rock, so obviously, you know, you and Kami play a lot of golf, I believe. Yeah. What's your best maybe Kami golf story?
Oh, I've got so many. But my favorite one is we've done a Shadow Creek trip the last couple of years, and they've done it around my birthday. We did it around my 40th birthday, and then we just happened to go around the same time this year. And we got into the drinks a little bit after the first night, and he was feeling really good about his game.
Crazy.
And we got to the point, just talking, and I'm like, I'll bet my house against you if you want. Like, there's no chance you can beat me straight up tomorrow. And, you know, we kind of were giving it that whole thing, and we ended up settling on a number, whatever it was. And it was more than either of us have ever played for, but it was nothing that was going to sting us, you know? And he killed a bird, whiffed a tee shot, and hit an iron on a par 3 into the maintenance shed in 9 holes. I mean, we lost it laughing. It was unbelievable. And Kami's a really good player. I mean, Kami was a 1 when I first met him. And he got in a bad place, and it was really bad. Needless to say, I won the money pretty easily. So,
was it north of 25
dollars or 100?
K.
Oh, no. It was okay. It was like 500 and then an extra 500 for for beating him.
I thought you were talking about like big dough.
When I play golf for money, I play for, you know, 60 or 80 bucks. We don't sting each other, and like, it's no big deal. And like, you know, maybe if there's some game on like a trip or something, you might lose 300 or 400, you know, over the course of the trip, but we don't sting each other bad. So that was a big one for us. So it went down quite a bit from my house to that. Obviously,
I could play for $1. If I was playing Drew for $1, it would be the same as 100,000. Like, I just want to win.
There's no point for guys getting bitter or getting worried about money. You don't want to do anything that stings anybody. You just want to get their attention a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
okay, before you go, Torrie, before I lose this question now, because you said
3 in a row, Drew. Here you go. Keep going.
You said sting, you said hurt, and Leaves. Are those some of your buzzwords that you use as a caddy? Like, what are some buzzwords? I mean, obviously hockey, we have our own when I coach, but what are some caddy buzzwords you use?
When I'm talking to Rickie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're really covers. Covers is one that people probably wouldn't know. Like, you got a lot of things with covers, cover on bunker, cover on a slope, anything like that. That'd probably be something that, people that aren't familiar with professional golf wouldn't talk about. Other than that, yeah, the leave, but I don't really, you don't really say like we're leaving it here. You just say, hey, keeping it right of this hole, short of this hole, that kind of thing. So cover is probably the only one that's like a word the guy wouldn't be familiar with. That wouldn't be just normal vocabulary.
Man, I don't know if you do any country club caddying, but you'll have like, it drives me nuts. A guy will have like 290 into a par 5. He'll be like, how far should I hit it? And it's like, well, it's like, fuck, like, how far do you want in? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't care how far you hit it. What do you want in?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. This one is from the only guy who dresses flashier than Rickie, Fitzy. He's actually playing in the Saskatchewan Senior right now.
Oh, nice.
He asked, have you ever wanted to or almost got in a scrap with another caddy after the round?
No, I have not.
Fair enough.
It's a caddy brawl.
Some guys get pretty testy. Most of the guys out here, most of us get along. I mean, you're with each other every week, man. Like, if you're creating enemies out here, it's no good. You're not going to always want to go get a beer with all the guys, but if you can't get along with them for a few hours playing golf, like,
No, I found that I only did Champions Tour, but like, it's just like everyone knows you're just, everyone's trying to make money and you just help each other out. And
yeah. I mean, if we're not winning, I want one of my buddies to win. You know what I mean? Like,
yep,
pulling for them, and that's just how it goes.
Torrie, going again or what?
Sure. You probably won't give an honest answer. Who's your least favorite player to get paired with?
Yeah, I got to pass on that one. I figured. Question. Sorry, I got to pass on that one.
Fair enough. I got one more after this, Drew.
You want me to go first then or what?
Fire away.
Okay. Joe, I think Kami told me you and Rickie both played at Whisper Rock one time, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
What was the number he shot today? Was it something low 60s, I believe?
Rickie?
Yeah.
I think the lowest, I've had him at Whisper Rock a few times. I think the lowest I've seen him shoot is 65 or 6.
Wow. Okay. This is another question I have. And
Tommy doesn't have a great memory. So you have to remember that about him. He's been dinged up too many times.
True. Okay.
Not from hockey.
I wanna.
We call him our dumbest friend, by the way.
Dumbest friend?
Yeah, that's Kami's nickname in our group, our dumbest friend.
Okay, I wanna confirm or deny this question because I think I was right, but I could be way off. When was the first year you guys played in the Masters?
We played in 11.
Is it true or false you can't practice before your first round there if you've never played there before?
No, you can't.
We
went
once you get the invite
early. We actually went on a trip early with Phil. That was really beneficial, and went around there with Phil. And then, yeah, you can go once you're in the tournament. You can call them and you can get out there and do a couple trips. Most guys will do a couple trips before even the week of the tournament.
Speaking of that, did you guys take a local caddy?
We did. Yeah, we took, who is actually the first time we went around there, we took Kyle Bradley, who is now out here. Well, I guess now he's on live, but he's been out here for a while, and he was very helpful. I think that's a huge thing because it allowed me to walk, and actually you have to take one. You can't go carry your bag. If you're going there before the tournament week, you can't go carry your guys' bags. You have to take one, but it's very, very beneficial because I can walk around, take notes, ask questions, do all that stuff. So those guys around there, you want to pick their brains for sure.
I hope you guys tipped them good.
I think Rick took pretty good care of him.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Okay, so I think I saw, this is my last part of that question. I saw on the internet Did Rickie play the Masters Xbox game before he played the tournament? His first one.
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that.
You should ask me that and then text me one day and be like, is it true or not? I'm pretty sure I saw
As far as I know, he's not a big video game guy. I've never heard him talk about playing video games, but maybe back then, maybe he did play a little bit.
Freaking Reddit, I tell you.
Oh, it's got to be true.
Yeah, don't believe the hype.
All right, my last one here, Joe, is have you guys ever had anything close to a breakup?
No, not that I would call. We've gotten into it. We've definitely gotten into it. We've gotten it into to the point where I wasn't sure about the next day, but no, we've always come back and been fine and able to talk about it and do whatever you're gonna. In competition, it doesn't matter if it's golf or not. Like, you're gonna have those exchanges. If you're both competitive and you're trying to win, things are gonna go wrong and you're gonna have those moments. But we've had very few.
It's like a marriage, there's good days and bad.
It's a little bit like a relationship.
That's a bit of a two-parter here. Let me ask you this. Has anyone approached you and tried to kind of pickpocket you from him?
No. Guys kind of know and stay away from that. I know guys were trying to get on his bag when I first came out, because I hadn't been out there. And of course, you see this young superstar and you're going to try to get on his bag. So credit to him that he stuck with me. It was like, hey, he knows golf. He knows what's going on. He'll learn the ropes quick. And so he stuck with me early on. But when we had a couple of close calls, there was a few guys trying to get in there for sure.
Dude, that's a worse feeling. I remember like when I was hanging out with Sandy for a little bit, like I would witness guys like 3 or 4 hand him their cards on the putting green. It's like, dude, I'm right here. Like,
yeah, that's tough.
It's like someone patting your wife's ass. You know?
You don't see a lot of that out here anymore. I mean, there's not a lot of that. Agents are really involved with how guys get bags now. So agents will go call guys and say who wants to put their name in, that kind of a thing. So there's a lot more of that going on. But you don't see a lot of it. It's from the stories I heard back in the day, just with the money out there and how much more professional it's been. And a lot of guys bring in like college buddies and things like that end up being out here for a while. You don't see a ton of it.
Got it.
Joe, I have 2 more for you and then we'll let you go. What's your post-round beverage working and then post-round when you're playing? Beer or drink, sorry.
Working, I don't drink a whole bunch. I mean, I might have one here or there. If when I'm over in Scotland, I'll have a couple beers, things like that. And then you'll have certain nights where, I mean, if I'm going to have a drink, I'm either going to have vodka water with a lemon, or I'm going to have a Blanco tequila water lemon. Those are kind of mine.
Do we just become best friends? Yep. All right, Joe.
Hey, before the last one,
sure.
I have one random question. You brought up Scotland twice. When you guys go to the British, does the player pay for your flights?
That's all different depending on
the player.
what you've agreed to. Some guys player pay the flight and then give your normal weekly. Some guys the weekly goes up. So it all just depends on what you've agreed to. Just like everything out here, like everybody's kind of on a, there's a standard, but everybody's on a different deal.
Gotcha.
All right, Joe. We usually finish the podcast with this one. Some advice for a young listener today, obviously with your past playing college golf, now working on the tour as a professional caddy. Some advice for, a young listener today that, that wants to make it, playing golf or be a doctor or be whatever. You've had so much success and we're happy for you and Rickie. So just some advice for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think preparation in anything, is just huge. Like being willing to put in the time, being prepared for whatever it is you're going to do, and, being passionate about it and just doing everything you can to succeed. And if you do things right and you take care of all the little things, like whatever path it takes you, you're going to end up succeeding at it.
Deadly.
Love it.
Well, there it is. Joe, man, I appreciate you coming on today. I wish you guys nothing but the best rest of the week here. Hope we can do it down the road and, get a few more wins under your guys' belts. And we had a lot of fun today. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.